Hi, welcome to Werks. In last week's video, I drew a King of Diamonds, which says DiResta poster frame. I have a few Jimmy DiResta posters, and I'm going to be building frames for them today. So one of the issues with cherry sometimes is it has this really prevalent sapwood, but I'm actually going to use that as a feature. There's not too much I can use these pieces for, but I think that would make a kind of a cool frame to really kind of highlight the sapwood. So now I'll take my piece, put the back in there, I want to push it up to that corner. And this does not need to be really precise. You want to cut this just a little bit over. That way you have a little bit of room in the back. But I'll go cut that. So then I just want to kind of sneak up on that line. Sometimes I remove this too. And I can grab onto that a little bit easier. So I'll cut that, and then I'm just going to shave the end and make sure it's a nice cut and go really slow. And that should be a good piece. So that fits in there nicely. There's probably just a smidge of gap. And then for the other side, so I can push it against the fence and I can feel until I don't feel anything, and then I can strike that line. Then I can give that a slice. And then I'll take this piece, and that's actually perfect. But if it's not, you can feel it. So if it feels off, then you just go back and true it up, get it to wherever it needs to be. So typically for these corners, I would just bust out my domino, and I would use those. I would just throw dominoes in the corners. But since I'm doing a little bit of a how-to and instructional video here, I understand this is an expensive tool and not everybody's going to have one of these. So I'm going to not use that today. I'm going to do this a little more simply. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little CA glue on this. I'm just going to do that for all of the corners. Now, you could totally get away with just using regular wood glue on this, and you would just have to clamp this. Just since I'm trying to kind of do this quickly, this is this is another one-day build. I'm just using CA glue. So this is a spline jig. And not a good spline jig, I might add. There's lots of videos on YouTube of people who can show you how to make much better ones, but basically what I'm going to do is cut a spline in these miters to reinforce them so I can clamp this in place. But I want to set my blade height so that it is in deep enough to make a difference, but I don't want to cut so deep that I cut into where the groove is going to sit. A little bit tight, so we're going to just take a hair more off of that. So I like to keep these little nails around. These are great for installing the backs of picture frames. I like it. Okay, so these are my finished poster frames for these DiResta posters. I wanted to keep these a little more rustic because I know that's kind of DiResta style, so that's part of why I went with the oak. And I don't know where I'm going to hang these yet. I'm not going to hang them in here because I don't want them to get broken, but I will find a place for them in my house. With that, I'm going to draw my card for next week's video. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we got. 2 of hearts. Oh, trash slider. So, trash slider. This is a trash pullout underneath the sink where you just have a trash can, and I want to make it so you can pull it out, and I'll try to do something a little interesting with that so it's not just something basic that you've probably already seen before. And I will have a new video up next week of making a trash pullout. So thank you for watching this week's video, and I'll see you next week.